Friendship, it's one of those commodities that I think those of us who were born into families with lots of kids. I'm the third son of three boys, and I have a younger sister that I had to share, or I had the opportunity to share a room with until I was about 7 years old. I mean, friends were built in. Our family took us to church on a weekly basis, and friends were built in. Our elementary school was within walking distance, and friends were built in. We lived in a neighborhood that was open, and we literally could go in and out of each other's houses, and we did, and friends were built in. We grow up, and friends become a much more intentional circumstance as we get older. In junior high school, well, how's it going to fit socially? In high school, are you on a team? Are you a stoner? Are you a hippie? Are you an outcast? Are you alternative? Are you whatever you are, whatever group you fit into? Friends aren't nearly as built in any longer. It becomes much, much more intentional. And then we become part of our careers and friends, it seems like, if we have them. Because now we have to decide, now, are these people my friends? Or are these people I just know in my career? Are these people I just share my professional experiences with? And then it becomes way more challenging. And then an interesting thing happens. We get even older. And all those things that once seemed so essential to us, all those things that we felt like, yeah, there's no way I could ever do that, they're not nearly as important to us anymore. The social aspect of it, the being neglected aspect of it, all of that, what we want are true friends. People that stand. When I go back across my life, I think about the people that have been friends, and I hesitate to make any kind of list because I've had so many good friends. I think about my buddy Brad, who's been close to me for so many years. We still talk. I think about my running partner George, who's been such a good friend, and until he moved, was such an important confidant in my life. I mean, I could go on and on with so many of you. Important friends, an important part of my life. And that's why I hesitate to even begin to make a list, because it just is so long. But the older I get, I find myself looking back to those childhood friends, those friends who kind of have a relationship and an understanding with that, what I remember, the music I remember, the neighborhood I remember, the schools I remember, the things that were important to me. I used to make fun of Dad, always wanting to go back to Princeton, Indiana. Talk about Lautenschlager Pool Hall, which had been closed for years, to talk about going down to Greek's Candy Store, which is still there. And I've been into it, Dad. To go down Seminary Street and to see his old house, which I've taken Dad into his old house, and was such a cool experience. But just to somehow feel close to that knowledge that he had. And sometimes Debbie and I will just get such a longing to go back into Long Beach for a day, to drive the streets. We'll go down my streets, which were never her streets, but then we'll go down our streets, our little street on Fanwood, where our good friends, John and Mary Lou, Steve and Melody, so many other people. They don't live there any longer. At least I don't think Steve and Melody live there any longer. John and Mary Lou are both dead. I did their funerals. And I think about friendship. Friendship, when we think about it, it's so easy to look at it as something past tense, as opposed to that which is right now. And for us, we need to remember that friendship is a right now experience. If you're not being a friend today, you have to evaluate what kind of friend you really are. If you're not holding a confidence today, you have to evaluate if you're really being a friend, if you're not that one who knows that you would strap yourself to the timber for this friend and go down with the ship for that friend, you have to question the level of your friendship. Because friendship, there's that professional level, there's that social level. You grew up in the same neighborhood. And then there's the friendship that is as deep as the fellowship. There's the friendship that cuts right to the core of our very being. There's the friendship that makes you and me bonded, like brothers, like sisters. If you don't have a good friend today, someone that you can say, yeah, you know what, I could call this person right now, and I know they would be here for me, I would highly recommend that you go out of your way to start making some good friends, because you're going to need them. We all need friends. And if you have some friends that the relationship was broken along the way, make a decision about how valuable that friendship was to you and whether you need to do what you can to reconcile it and rebuild that friendship in the months to come as we approach Thanksgiving, or the weeks to come. Lord help us, the weeks to come as we approach Thanksgiving. And in all of our friendships going forward, the most important element is that we evaluate ourselves. You see, we can't be or ask for a better friend than we can be a friend. You get it? We can't ask for a better friend than we can be a friend. And yet so often we receive friendships that are so much better than we ever deserve or than we ever were ourselves. So today I want you to know, the only reason I ever had the opportunity to be any kind of miracle in my life is because so many of you were better friends to me than I ever was to you. So many of you loved me more than I ever loved you in any way, shape, or form, than I ever knew how to love you. And so many of you lifted me up in ways than I ever lifted you up, and I want to thank you for that. If this were my last day, I'd want to embrace you and tell you just exactly how important you are to me. So I would encourage you to go out and embrace someone today. I don't know who it is. It's hard to go back over the whole list of friends in life. But whoever it is that you see, embrace them and let them know how important they are to you. A friend of mine, Dwight, contacted me this morning and said, Pastor Eric, I've already got all the warmers lined up for Thanksgiving. Now, Dwight hasn't worked Thanksgiving for a couple of years. His family was an essential part of our legacy at Thanksgiving. His family doesn't attend Central Community any longer, but still, there's never been a year that Dwight hasn't arranged for the donation of all the warmers that are so essential to our Thanksgiving dinner. Thanks, Dwight. And I thought about how many people make up who we are in life. You have some people who make an important part of who you are in life today. I had the opportunity this morning to tell Dwight I love him and thank you. Take the time as you come in contact with someone today to tell them that you love them. Tell them thank you. They may have been a much better friend to you than you ever were to them. And they may have helped make you the miracle that you are today. And you see, if we're going to be the miracle, we get to be the miracle together. No one's a miracle all by themselves. Even Jesus invited 12 people to go with him. Hey, God bless you. Have an absolutely amazing day. Have an incredible weekend. Be the miracle. And whether they're friends from your neighborhood, from your school years, from your teams, from your professional life, from growing up in life to where you just got to choose your friends without being so worried about the implications of it all. Wherever they're from, let them know that you're thankful for the important part in your life today. God bless you. Be the miracle.